Hey, I'm Hunter. This is my research paper assignment presentation. Found in organizations, interpersonal relationships, and general conversation, conflict is an unavoidable part of the human experience. However, effectively managing conflict in organizational settings is a key skill for leadership. Conflict is best described as a disagreement between two or more parties where a threat is perceived to their interests, needs, or concerns. The two forms of conflict are constructive and destructive. When evaluating the behavior of organizations, conflict is normal and should be measured by its outcomes. Constructive and destructive conflict represent two distinct sides of the conflict spectrum, characterized by their positive or negative impact on the individuals in the organization. Focusing on the conflict management process and not just the outcomes desired by the parties is a key to realizing the potential benefits of a conflict. Managing conflict and ensuring healthy negotiation practices are crucial to the success of an organization and employee retention. The ability to manage conflict healthily is vital for both leaders and team members. This paper will explore conflict and its various elements, discussing conflict management and negotiation strategies, and highlighting the critical role of conflict management in achieving organizational success. Conflict is omnipresent in human interaction, and it can be both constructive and destructive. While proper conflict management is constructive, solving some problem or improving a previously existing process, dysfunctional conflict is to be avoided like the plague. Dysfunctional conflict is a destructive form of conflict that focuses on the emotions and differences between two parties. When people become emotional, their behaviors tend to escalate conflicts, fueling dysfunctional exchanges. Dysfunctional conflict focuses on emotions and differences between two or more parties, degenerating to the extent that the parties lose sight of the bigger issues and become consumed by a desire for revenge, retaliation, or harm to the other party. Dysfunctional conflict tends to get more personal than professional, making it highly toxic to a healthy work environment. While dysfunctional conflict negatively impacts workgroup and company performance, it can also contribute to the employee depression, absenteeism, turnover, and burnout. Nobody benefits from dysfunctional conflict. It needs to be cut out like an infectious disease. Despite the destructive nature of dysfunctional conflict, some conflict is positive if it is employed to serve the interests of both parties. Interests define a problem, and the main obstacle to negotiation is not in conflicting positions, but the disconnect between the needs, desires, concerns, and fears of each side. Constructive conflicts balance the interests of both parties to promote mutual gains in achieving common goals. It takes effort from both parties to create an environment where conflicts are resolved constructively. Constructive conflicts contain elements of creativity, adaptation, and a desire to discover a mutually acceptable outcome. Exploring constructive conflict is a great way to promote new ideas that enhance the quality of life for all parties involved. Conflict is a natural occurrence in organizations, but when harnessed as a creative force, it can be a powerful influencer of change. For conflict to be constructive, it must be adaptable. And if options for mutual gain in a conflict are not immediately apparent, they must be invented. Inventing options is not a natural process, and inventing is the normal state of affairs even outside of a stressful negotiation. Negotiation is a professional art, and it is crucial to have multiple options when considering mutually beneficial solutions. As valuable as options are, people actively involved in negotiation rarely sense a need for them. Hypercriticism is detrimental to creativity and hinders the conflict resolution process. To invent creative options, one must separate the act of inventing options from the act of judging them. Broaden the options on the table rather than searching for a singular solution, seek mutual gains, and devise ways to make decisions easier. Judgment and hypercriticism are obstacles to imagination and creative acts, such as brainstorming solutions to conflict. They must be kept separate from the selection process, which involves a high level of scrutiny. Good negotiators or conflict mediators can devise options for mutual gain in conflict scenarios. Negotiators often invent solutions on their own, and it is not an easy process. Inventing new ideas involves thinking about things that have not yet been considered. Brainstorming is a valuable practice in group settings, as it allows team members to express creative solutions to the given issue, provided that hypercritical feedback is absent. During a brainstorming session, people should not fear looking foolish, as wild ideas are explicitly encouraged. In the absence of the other side, negotiators should not worry about disclosing confidential information or having a half-baked idea taken as a serious comment. There are no set guidelines governing a meeting to brainstorm, and sessions should be tailored to meet the needs and personalities of the participating members. Before brainstorming, team members must define the purpose of the meeting, select a few participants, adjust the environment, create an informal atmosphere, and appoint a facilitator. Good facilitators are crucial in governing the meeting's flow, stimulating the exchange of ideas, and ensuring that predetermined guidelines are followed. Along with the facilitator, additional roles are usually assigned to reduce uncertainty and establish responsibilities in group environments. Self-concepts largely determine the roles people assume in small groups, including individuals' expectations about their behavior, the perceptions others have about their positions within the group, and their actual behavior as they interact with others. Other people have a strong influence on identity formation. Perhaps a teacher once told you that you were good in art. Maybe somebody once told you that you cannot sing very well. You listen to others, especially those whose opinions you respect, and internalize their perceptions to shape your self-concept. Contributing factors to self-concept are the perceptions of other people, gender, sexual orientation, and cultural background. Culture is highly influential on self-concept, influencing behaviors such as willingness to communicate in a group. Respect the self-concepts of group members and assigning roles that align with their aptitudes fosters healthy conflict resolution. There are several different approaches to managing conflict in groups. The four areas of skill development related to conflict resolution are listening, questioning, nonverbal communication, and mediation. When listening to both sides of a conflict in the role of a mediator, it is essential to summarize what each side says to demonstrate an understanding of their respective position. Leaders do not view conflict as something to be avoided, but rather as an opportunity for growth. Most people dislike conflict, and it is often considered more manageable and less stressful to avoid conflict and suppress dissenting opinions, even though these approaches can hinder the development of more creative ideas and solutions. Leaders and organizations must realize the inevitable nature of conflict and foster constructive conflict environments. As a literature review, the research in this paper examines several scholarly works, primarily the course text, to provide a systematic overview of conflict in organizations and the best approaches to addressing conflicts as they occur. Using keyword searches, textbook sessions, and article reviews, a comprehensive analysis was compiled and examined to provide an accurate portrayal of professional conflict, its implications, and best practices. Collaboration has a profound impact on conflict management, both in interpersonal and professional communication. This paper supports the idea that taking a collaborative approach to problem solving builds better relationships within the business and promotes creativity. Win-win solutions, whenever possible, are superior to situations when one side loses and harbors resistance or negativity. By comparison, competitive styles of conflict can lead to the escalation of problems, resentment toward others, and reduced productivity in the organization. As organizations continue to evolve with new technologies, the human ability to transform discord into dialogue will undeniably foster a healthy workplace culture where team members feel heard and valued.